Hi, my name's Simon Wood. I'm from Newcastle, here in Newcastle, and I'm a musician. I play the hang, which is a handpan, steel instrument. Yeah, the hang is made out of steel. Two pressed sheets of steel are turned into two hemispheres, which are then glued together to create a UFO-like shape, which has dimples around the edges, which are the notes, and then it has on the top it has a bass note. So each one of the notes is tuned to a different note or to a different scale. So there's many different kinds of scales. So, and the sound, it's a difficult one to explain, but it doesn't sound like you might imagine. If you weren't able to see it, you might think it might sound like a stringed instrument, some sort of harp, but it's to do with the special properties of how it's tuned, the way in which the notes, the harmonics in the notes work together across the whole instrument. So it's something that's is a very interesting and new kind of sound. I was very lucky. I met a guy. I'll cut a long story short. I met a guy in Holland, and he was playing one day in Vondel Park in Amsterdam. So I was wandering along and I heard this sound and I was like, wow, what's that? And I sat down next to him and he was shaking his dreadlocks and playing away, and when he woke up I was like, hello mate, alright? And he let me have a little go and he told me about it. When I got home to Newcastle, I wrote to the people that made them. I got the name, the number from the website, did a little search, and then promptly forgot that I'd done this. And a year later I got an email coming through on my desktop. This is the hang makers in Switzerland, would you still like a hang? And I was like, I can't believe it. I've asked for one of these, I'd forgotten that I'd done it. So there you are. I wrote back, yeah, of course, I'd love one. 2 months later I was in Switzerland and I went there to pick one up, and it was an amazing journey. Really, I just couldn't believe it. And then when I got there, I'd picked it up and I'd gone into a room and I'd picked mine out of all of the ones that had the choice. The next day I'm sitting around in this hammock having a nice time, enjoying the sunshine. Who's to walk through the door but the very guy that I'd seen a year and a half earlier in Holland. And he came up to me and he went, I know your face, don't I? And I went, it's a bit bizarre, because he's quite a well-known hang player, David Swarup. And I was like, yeah, you do, and you're the reason I'm here. So it was like a gone full circle. I'd sort of got this instrument by meeting this guy, forgotten that I'd done it, and there you are. I was without being cheesy, I felt very blessed, because they're not easy to get a hold of. I certainly weren't then. They're a lot not easier now, but I was very lucky. So yeah, that's it basically. Yeah, I do that quite a lot nowadays. I didn't used to. I used to find it really intimidating and quite scary. First few times I went out, I was like, what? Even though you're 1-0 ahead with something like a hang, because it's a new instrument, people are like, oh yeah, it's quite difficult to play in the street. But after a little break, I went back to it, and nowadays it's part of my lifestyle really. It's what I do in the summer, and I go abroad and play. And last year I was in Holland and Greece and France and all kinds of places, and this year I'm going to be going all over the place, hopefully playing a lot of festivals and street performance. So it's a wonderful thing. I love playing in the street. You meet so many great people. People give you money for playing an instrument. It's kind of bizarre, and in a way it's tapping into an old heritage, something that's been going on for thousands of years, the old troubadour, you know. So it feels nice to be part of that sort of lineage of people who rock up in the street and play and entertain people, and you get a hell of a lot back from the crowd. You give out something, but you get a hell of a lot back. So I really enjoy it. It's great. So yeah, busking. I'm doing a range of different things at the minute. I'm working with a kora player, which is an African harp, 21 strings. She's from Manchester, and a bass player who's from Manchester. It's Holly and Michael. We're called the Mysterious Collective when we play it together. It's a bit of a sort of jam band at the minute. We haven't had much time for any real practice. We improvise, and it's fantastic. So we're working together on new music for that project, but we're also I'm also working on new tracks for my new album. Some with electronics on, some which are going to be hang only, others with other musicians. I'm working with a guy called Steve Ellis Richmond, who's a guitarist and a composer and a producer. So we're working together on new stuff too. So yeah, it's quite exciting, and a few other little projects. Too many to go into really, but yeah, it's great. I used to do quite a lot of stuff in St Oswald's Hospice, which is really rewarding, going in and I let people have a go in my hand, and I do a performance, but I take it around and put it on people's knee and let them have a try. It's really nice. I haven't done so much of that recently, but I was in there a couple of weeks ago actually, playing for an organisation called Music in Hospice, Music in Hospitals, which is not volunteer work, but it's an organisation where you get paid a small amount for going in and doing gigs. It's a wonderful experience. So I do a lot of that kind of thing, and workshops too.